me get the brakes on.
Hit the brakes, hold up. Jesus Christ.
Gotta wait for the last one to get in. Are you all aboard?
No, we're not. We're not. Sit down.
Okay.
Go, we're in.
All right, thanks everyone for tuning into the channel. You know, today is March 24th. This is the first day of going into lockdown here in Wisconsin, right? I got Paul Rembas, the crew chief for Rembas Racing. Paul, say a few words.
Hello, everybody. I guess all we can do now is stick tight and get our cars built and our races rebuilt for whenever the race season opens, even though I strongly feel what I'm hearing is that so many races already are considered to be canceled here in April and 1st of May already.
Really?
So, yes. Buys us time.
Wow. So, what are you working on the car for this year? What's the plan?
The plan is to get a CRX that has enough fuel in it that it doesn't overheat. I've got 2 engines together, and I've had to double my fuel injection system from what I had recently. I was telling everybody where we were having all these problems with. We thought we had a radiator issue. We thought we had actually a cooling loop issue, and really what it came down to is I have a fuel issue. So now that we had that solved, we're anxious to get back on the dyno and get things sorted out and at least get some current good mapping in it and get back on the racetrack as soon as the racetrack is open.
So what's it like to be a crew chief for your team?
Well, no longer stressful because it's not too stressful anymore because we're picking and choosing what races we're having this year. Also, our driver, Emily, is going to be running a GT2 Porsche in the vintage car class as well as a Sport Renault in the vintage series this year. So actually, those are 2 cars that we will be driving for another team, and that team crew chief will take the charge of making sure the tires are good and the engines are tight and nothing leaks.
Paul, give us some advice to all those other gearheads, racers, crew chiefs working in their garages right now while we're under this lockdown that's going on with the world.
Well, I think what we need to do is still be hopeful because this is our hobby, this is our passion. That'll never go away. So when you think that there may be a racetrack that's closed or you're limited to where you could take your efforts and actually test them on a track of some sort, what I think you need to do is just to go back, sit, get a stool, look at your car, look at your setup, and if all you do is look at it and say, how can I improve this? How can I make this car roll better? How can I get rid of some parasitic drag? What are the details that I've missed over the years that have those gotcha moments at the racetrack? Try to go through those in your logbooks and go after all those areas. Why? Because we have time now to do it. Nothing's going to be rolling out here for another month or 2 at least. With that in mind, now that's what you do. I've done the same thing. I've literally have gone through my notes and my records, and I've now gone after all those gotcha moments, and I'm really paying attention to the gotcha moments when you're at the racetrack. And I'm trying to either reroute, reorganize, resize, replumb, rearrange, make it less accident-proof, make it less vibration broken-proof. And that's my recommendation. And the other thing that I'll wrap this up with is always remember, don't over-engineer. My dear friend Scott, who has brought us many national brought me in, and he and I have brought many national world championships together with his insight and engineering prowess. We always had a thing on the wall, and it said, when in doubt, simplify. Because as engineers, we have a tendency to continue to want to re-engineer something better or make it more complicated.
And you know, for us drivers, when in doubt, give it gas, right?
Sure. If you've got grip and it goes around a corner, I guess you could utilize that.
Yeah, that's good advice, Paul. How about one last bit of advice for you know, when you have a hard day, you know, I mean like a tough day on a track, things aren't working, you're breaking stuff, going into the next season here that we can all reflect. What would you give as far as, you know, emotional or mental strength advice to days that are like that coming up?
Okay. I want everybody to go in the mirror and let anybody who's doing anything with racing, I want them to look in the mirror, and the first thing they need to tell themselves is, you have now entered the hardest sport that you could ever enter. You should be proud that you're willing to take that challenge. It's a big challenge.
What's going on?
We've been struggling all year with heating issues. When we think we get them solved and we really start pushing the car, they rise their heads again. Our temps go back up.
Hey, what's up?
Overheating. Tried to run another vent line from the surge tank to the radiator. Don't have the right fittings, so that's day over, end of the weekend.
Are you leaving? Not yet.
No, I was just packing up and everything ready to go.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's not your fault, Dad. You got everything.
It is my fault. I haven't done something. I missed something somewhere.
And also remember that when you have a bad day at the track, learn from the bad day at the track. Don't give up, don't quit, and don't use the word, we just had a bad luck day. That doesn't make it. We are working with mechanical, we are working with thermodynamics, and they don't really care. They don't have a luck. There's no lucky charm on any of those components in a race car.
I think we have to still make some more modifications to our surge tank and return lines. And that's all we can do is take it back to the shop and redo our program.
Is this small enough to fit
Our program.
So I always say dig in, shake it off, do your best, find your problems and rework them. It's something I always was taught from a guy years and years ago when I was in karting. When I had bad days, and I had many bad days. I had days where I couldn't even get past the grid without sticking a motor. And then when I did start doing well, he always said, well, Paul, remember one thing. Glory is fleeting. It's what you do next that counts.
And we'll leave it at that. That's Paul Rembas, crew chief for Rembas Racing. This is 2020 right now, and it is March 24th. We're going into a lockdown here in Wisconsin. So, Paul, I appreciate you getting on the phone and sharing some of your crew chief, advice from someone who's been on a track many years.
Thank you, Jake. Thanks for having me.
So remember, everyone, subscribe to the channel, all right? And we'll see you on the track as soon as this whole thing lets off. And be safe out there. Make sure you wash your hands and, all the good stuff that you need to be doing, right?
That's correct.
Okay, Paul. Make sure you have the donuts planned out for the season, because when I get to your paddock, I want to see some good tasting donuts, man.
I'm going to have to break my diet then.
That's right. Well, you have several weeks to just trim it out so you can repack it up, pack in those pounds when the season starts.
Isn't it amazing how donuts are still the global treat to have at a race?
Exactly. If you need to get a good deal at an auto parts store, make sure you bring those guys a dozen donuts, and you'll see what happens the next time you come in there.
Yeah, all of a sudden you get a 20% discount.
Exactly. All right. Okay, everyone. Thanks, and you have a good day, everybody. Thank you for checking out the channel, and stay tuned for more videos coming up. All right. Okay, Paul. Let's sign off with the video. Say your last goodbyes. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me, and hopefully this will be an introduction and some advice that everybody could use over the next couple of months.
All right. Thanks, Paul. I'm going to turn that camera off right now.
on the front straightaway. Were you dragging a brake or something?
No, but that feels weird too. Not on purpose. I wonder if that's what it is. I think, because remember this happens at this track. So I have to figure out what I'm doing. It's something with going into second gear. And I wonder if somehow the brake gets a little stuck. Remember the last year?
Did you bump it?
I might bump it accidentally a little when I downshift or something.
Okay.
And that's actually when it got weird, and I bet the brake is on or stuck. But I don't know, that doesn't ever happen unless I use second gear.
Andy said he saw your brake light on the front straight, down the entire front straightaway.
And once it started weird, once it started acting weird, just
It was
once.
the last couple of laps.
That's, yeah.
But her temps are perfect.
Good.
Alright, let's check, make sure the brake ducts are good. Let's jack up the front. Let me jack it up.